Don't bring your imps to work, they say. Dark magic is inappropriate in front of the customers, they say. How dare they fire me? Nonsense! I will show them. I will dig into the mountain. We will build dark chambers and fill them with machines. Silence! There we will build toys and games to give to the children of our enemies so that we may win their hearts again. Just kidding. We will recruit all manner of evil from across the land. We shall feed them, arm them. Then, only then, shall we have the ring. Fine, no ring, but I will have my revenge. All you humans, dwarves, elves, and that bully from 5th grade shall pay for your crimes. I shall be the keeper, the dungeon keeper that rules these lands, from now until eternity. Come, my imps, it is time to get to work.
Released in early access on Steam in March of 2015, KeeperRL, or Roguelike, is the would-be love child of Dungeon Keeper and Dwarf Fortress. Both titles I devoted countless hours to. That being said, there are two very important things to be aware of. Number one, this game is still in alpha and is very much incomplete, so many features are unfinished or do not yet exist. Secondly, I really suck at it. I played my usual 12 to 13 hours of it before now, so I fully expect to get my butt kicked. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it as much as I do. Ask anyone who plays Dwarf Fortress, losing is half the fun. Okay, so let's get going. Let's just take a quick look at the settings. So in-game hints on and off, pretty straightforward. Unicode graphics, yeah, so I think there is a free version of this without music, and the fancy graphics, well, fancy, you know what I mean, or fancier graphics in just basic Unicode, so kind of that Dwarf Fortress kind of graphics, and I think there's a free version you can get, but the difference is that this one has commercial music and stuff. Anyway, so music on and off, which is interesting because, well, there is actually no sound effects in this game. Sometimes I forget that because in your mind you're starting to make up sound effects. It's kind of funny, but then Dwarf Fortress didn't have sound effects either, so just interesting to know. Full screen on or off? Full screen, yes it is, 1920 by 1080, which is really nice. And online exchange of dungeons and high scores. So that means when your dungeon is complete, it actually sort of sends it out into the universe where other people can come in and play as an adventure in your world and actually go up in levels and collect loot and become more powerful and probably just die really quickly, which is probably what I would do. I haven't tried it. I'm really looking forward to it, actually. I think that'd be really, really interesting. But yeah, you can actually go in and play other people's stuff, which is very cool. And it also has an autosave. All right, perfect. So let's get going here. Yes. And we're going to do the keeper thing. And like I said, we will try this adventure thing at some point. I don't know when, but you know. There we go. And we're going to start off as Deluks. Excellent. Creating a new world for me. So because this is the first time we played this, I'm just gonna read this really quickly. So Warlock, you were dabbling in the dark arts, I see. Welcome to the Valley of Suntalor, and every time you get a different name of a different land, which is cool, where you will have to do what you can to keep yourself together. Build rooms, storage units, and workshops to endorse your minions. The only way to go forward in this world is to destroy the ones who oppose you. Use the mouse to dig into the mountain. You can select rectangular areas. By using the shift key, you will need to access trees, iron, stone, and gold ore. Build rooms and traps and prepare for war. You can only control one minion at a time by clicking on them in the minion tab or on the map, which isn't true now. You can actually control teams of people. You can turn these messages off in the settings or press F2. I like the messages. That's okay. Okay, so before we start, let's spacebar to pause. Interesting. So every time you start this, it's totally different. So I can use the cursor keys to kind of look around here, and I have a little mini map that we can go to, and it looks kind of weird, but once you start to understand it, it makes sense. So this is a line of sight. This is where we are, and this is a line of sight of all our little dudes. And as we move our little dudes, or they move on their own, of course, they have their own line of sight, and if trees get in the way and mountains get in the way and all this kind of stuff. And it shows you right off the bat where all the minerals are in the mountain, which I thought it's cool, But maybe they might change that later on. I don't know, because it would. I always find it more exciting to dig into an area and discover it, you know. But that's okay. For now, you can see it right away. So we know that there's gold here. There's iron ore here. There is granite up here. And I think that's all there is. And then, of course, wood is a resource. And what's interesting, we started right near a river. Look at this. So we actually can't. So there's no bridge across here, and lots of bad guys cannot cross water, except for flying guys, of course, can, and some creatures that just can. I think lizard men can cross water too as well. And same with our guys, like our imps can't just cross open water like this, and my main guy, which is right here, a keeper, and you start with 4 imps, I can't cross water as well. So now, if I unpause it, we're actually going to run at speed 1, which is slow. Time moves by just as normal. Now, I actually cannot control, or I don't control the keeper or anybody unless I actually click on them and go control. But you can see some basic information here too as well. So Deluks, he's my keeper. He's a sorcerer per se, or a warlock, right? And I wonder if maybe in the future they're going to open it up so that you can play different types of classes, which would be cool. Like it would be kind of cool if you could start as a knight or a thief or something. But because you're a sorcerer, you spend less time, I think, using your keeper to go out and adventure. You can, but he's a little soft and squishy at the beginning, so you got to be careful. And of course, he has all sorts of attributes, like his attack affects how much damage is dealt in combat. Defense affects how much damage is taken in affects if and how much damage is taken in combat. And of course, strength, dexterity, which affects those two abilities, and accuracy, which is needed for archery. And maybe some spells too, and speed. So every tick of the game, how much you can accomplish during that tick, you know, that's what your speed is. And of course, you can decide what they're doing for an activity. He can't do anything right now because we need a place for, so he has the ability to do 3 things on his own. He can train, he can work in the laboratory, in other words, make potions, or he can study in the library and research and get mana for the dungeon. We'll talk more about that in a bit. He has a basic skill of sorcery, which gives him access to some basic spells like healing, which is interesting. You can actually see over here what equipment he has. Right now, all he has is a robe, but of course you can equip everything from weapons and armor and bows and helmets and rings and potions and all sorts of crazy stuff. And some stuff you find, some stuff you can make. Anyway, and of course we can rename him and any other creature in the game. So I invite you all who's interested in having their name in the game, please let me know, and I will happily make you into an imp or whatever kinds of creatures are available. If you have a specific request, let me know, but it all depends on the availability of creatures. Because I think we can rename her. Now, also keep in mind, there's a very high probability that you will die. Okay, so let's get going here. So now, at the beginning, I always take control over my keeper, and you can move him around with the arrow keys. And of course, you can use the numeric pad to move in diagonal too as well. And see, we're looking at the edge of the mountain here, and it's always good to kind of take a little look around the area to see what it kind of looks like before you start digging, because there's been lots of times where I start digging and not realizing there's actually another cave or another cave in the mountain, and I dig into that, and then I end up with 2 entrances into my own cave, which is not good. Now, the downside to doing this is we could die right away, and the game will be over. But I guess that would be kind of funny, and it'd be okay. But because we could run into a cyclops or something that's living in a cage, and he'll come and eat us or something stupid. And it happens. It happens. Okay, so that's the edge of the mountain there. So this is the edge of the mountain, and of course there's water up here. I feel pretty good about not digging past this point, because there's a pretty good chance there's a lake that goes through here. Eventually I'll send somebody in to scout that, but we won't be able to do that right now. Okay, so what a good place to dig lots of minerals. I'm thinking right in here might be pretty good, and it looks like the mountain probably we'll have to build a bridge here and go all the way up in the mountain. All of these question marks are mysteries. They're secret specials, and they could be really, really great or ultra terrible, like the worst thing that could ever happen in the game. Like running into a dragon or a massive cyclops. It's just not a good thing to happen. Okay, so I think we're gonna start digging right here. There's lots of juicy gold right away. And before we do that, let's leave control of our keeper, and we're going to identify stuff that the imps can start cutting down here and digging. And you do that by just holding down the shift button and drawing a box around it. Really, really simple. So that means they're going to chop down all of those trees, and of course we want to start digging into the mountain. Now, I like to build really weird snaky tunnels that I can build lots and lots of boulder traps and stuff that will cause great create all sorts of pain for the people trying to invade my dungeon. This is kind of a typical thing for me. Kind of like doing this little circly thing, and then our first room will be right here. And I think this will be the training room. Actually, no. Yeah, this will be the training room, but I want to do another room sort of semi-close. I think we'll do... Actually, maybe we'll do another one down here. And actually, we might as well unpause it and let the imps start working. They'll start chopping the trees. Now, there's nowhere to put any of that wood, but we'll create something fairly quickly. I think we'll do a temporary resource room, and this will be the room for our beast lair. Now, beast lairs are kind of like a place where we can attract just animals like cave bears and ravens and wolves and stuff like that. And they have their uses, although limited. They can be quite powerful too as well. And as far as I know, they go up in levels and stuff too. So I like to build kind of fancy rooms for certain things, or fancy looking rooms. So like the training room is going to be like, yeah, like that. And I don't do pillars or anything like you would normally do in Dwarf Fortress, because having nice little square areas, perfect square areas, is kind of important in this game. Oh, that's... Okay, so we'll do... no, actually, I think we'll do it like that. We'll have sort of two entrances. And we're going to do... Why? I don't know, just because I want to. And we'll have another place. So basically, these are going to be where I put boulder traps. So there'll be a boulder here, and it's going to roll down and hit the wall. And destroy everybody in between, and do it again here, and then do it again here. So eventually when we can build doors, we can't do that quite yet. They'll smash down the door. I'll put another door here. They'll smash down this door. Then a boulder will be here, and it'll go roll down and hit them. Hopefully, that's the goal. I kind of screwed that one up though. I should have only cut out up to here. But instead I cut up to here, which makes... a lot of times what happens is when the enemies break in, they see the boulder and they run away, right? So right now my keeper's just standing there with his thumb in his butt. Ooh, wow. Good thing I didn't quite dig into here. It would have opened up an area that I wasn't quite ready to open up. So the keeper isn't doing much right now because there's nothing for him to do. As I said, the only thing he can do is train in a training area, work in a laboratory, or study. And we don't have those areas built yet, or those rooms built yet. But we will right away here. I think we're going to then channel down. We're going to go up here. And I think we're going to build a dormitory. Yeah, I think we'll go off like this. We're going to build a dormitory and an eating area. So I know this game has been out for a while, and I try to do really new stuff on the channel, but I figured I'd do something different. Just because, I mean, it's something that I play. I'm always so worried about whether or not you guys will like it, and really what it comes down to is if I'm playing it, I should be showing it. You know, I should be recording it. Why not, right? I don't know. If it's fun for me, it's probably fun for somebody else too. So I think we'll do that room there. I try to make them look kind of snazzy. And some rooms, you want to have nice, perfect square areas. You get better efficiency out of them. But some rooms, it doesn't really matter. Some rooms, it's just about the more space, the better. And this room, or this area, because we're going to be digging out these areas anyway, I might as well turn them into usable rooms, right? Okay, so there we go. So they're starting to dig out that gold. Now, just leaving it on the ground because we actually have no place to store it. Oh, while we're sitting here, let's summon some more imps. So a lot of this game revolves around mana. Mana is your number down here. So you use mana for doing a number of things. First of all, you can summon imps. Imps, of course, are your main workers, these guys here. And they sort of do all of your heavy lifting. And the more imps you have, the faster things go. You can also use, or must also use, your mana for... Whoops. We don't have a library, so I can't show you. It's basically research points too as well, to research new types of rooms and new types of abilities and spells and all sorts of good stuff. So you get mana by killing bad guys, or good guys per se, and you get more of it by killing them at night. And you also get mana by having guys work in your library. And now we're not going to be building a library right away, because that's sort of one of the last things we do in our, well, it's not a last thing we do. I want to build it fairly quickly, but it's going to be one of the things that is not built at the beginning of a dungeon. I try to build it near the end, because it's sort of where your main guy is going to be hanging out. Like your keeper is going to be hanging out almost all of his time, is going to be in the library doing research. Now, in my case, I like to get him to do training and stuff too. But in the meantime, I can get him to actually train until we build that. So we can build a training room. Now it's going to cost me 20 iron ore per block. per section of training room. So I generally build a 9x9, which will give it one centerpiece, which is 100% efficiency with torches on the wall. Torches are free, by the way. You're like, what are you talking about? You're talking about torches now? Yeah, it'll all make sense in time. Trust me, it'll all make sense in time. Okay, I think we're gonna do that. We'll do a door for that here, might as well. Yeah, D for dig. Gotta remember D for dig. All right, and they'll get some iron out of there. They actually cannot build this training room yet until they get some of this iron dug out. Now we can expedite them building that training room by going to orders and clicking on prioritize task. I'll just move over here. And we can actually highlight the tasks that we've set out. Then all of the imps that are available will come and start working on that. And then because that's close proximity of where they want to work, they will continue working on this stuff. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway. Okay, that's better. I just had to check the time. Sorry about that. And okay, here we go. So now we have some iron. Now we should start to see some imps start to build our first little training room. And that will, in the meantime, we can have our keeper actually doing something. Now he's not, ideally we want him working in the lab. Oh, I'm actually just gonna pause it here for a second. For some reason my speed went up to normal. And that's okay, I don't mind it at normal. But while I'm talking here, of course, I want to explain a few things before we get too far ahead. So I'm going to start building out this tunnel now here, and we're going to have a manufacturing area. So we have to build, or at least we can build, our first sets of armor and weapons, as well as rings, magic rings, and potions, and traps. All that stuff we can build. Now, some of it we can, of course, capture from defeating bad guys. Bad guys being good guys. Some cases, you know, like humans and elves and all that. And sometimes they're like dragons. So as we start to search areas, we'll start to find all sorts of crazy beings in this land. Oh, I should be careful here because we might actually dig into a new area. Oh, they didn't build that training area. Hold on, I'm going to pause it here. Okay, guys, I want you to build this training area so I can get my keeper doing something. Hold on. There it is. No, that's not what I want. Orders, there we go. Prioritize tasks. We're going to tell them to... oh, I can't prioritize to tell them... I can't tell them to dig or to build? That's weird. Training. Yeah, that requires iron. Oh, I know why. Because we don't have a storage area yet. They won't actually start building anything until we have a place to store our resources. Now, I generally like to keep a place fairly close, sort of in the middle of my dungeon for them to store resources so that they don't have to go running too far to get them when they're actually working. So I kind of do a, I hate building even like a 4x3 room. Like if I did a 4x3 room there, I'd have to, well, I could do a door here. If I did a door here, it'd be okay. But for example, a 4x4 room, there's no even place to put the door. Like here, I hate this. This drives me crazy. I like to have the doors centered like this. So it makes, I don't know, it just makes the room look better. So this was kind of a, oops. But no, we could do a 3x3 room, which is more than enough for resources. As far as I know, and well, let's make sure that we prioritize here. Go. All right. So they will go back and then they're going to come and they're going to build that. Now, you have to have a place to put your resources like your ores and your woods and your, what else do we need to put in there? Oh, and stone. Stone's another one that we use a lot of. Hey, I don't see a lot of stone here. Oh, there's lots. Just going to go way north for them. Oh, that's going to be interesting. We're going to have two entrances to this place no matter what, because I think we're going to have to cross water. So any water beings... I guess we could put a bridge here and then start digging into the mountain here. This is interesting. I love that, you know, it's procedurally generated. It's always different. And your dungeons, therefore, of course, always look very different. Oh, they did dig that out. Okay, so let's get our resources. So you can place, you can't, oh, where to go here? Ah! Storage, here we go. So right now you can build two types of, well, three types. You can build just a resources area, which is all of your ores and woods and stuff like that. And you can build a equipment area, which is all of your swords and shields and your loot, essentially, except for gold. And then, of course, you can have a storage area that is everything. Now, I like to have our two different ones, our equipment and our resources separate, and then I do a equipment storage area just fairly close to the training area. That way guys training don't have far to go to look for that stuff. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a graveyard in behind the almost screwed up there. Yeah, there we go. This is going to be a graveyard. And then the graveyard, I think we'll do a little door leading out of the graveyard, and we'll go get all this. This is stone. Stones are granite. Granite's important for building certain types of rooms, like the graveyard, for example. Good example. And I don't think he used stone building boulder traps yet, but I think that's coming. And I'd have to look at that closely, but it seems like I never run out of it. It's one of those funny resources that you never run out of. And I'm not going to do it. I'm going to actually do a boulder trap here. And I think we'll do another kind of funny shaped, or yeah, we could do, oh no, that's a bad place for a boulder trap. So we could do a boulder trap just like that. Just, we don't need 2 spots. We'll just do 1. And then we can make this little thing and do a little funny shaped room. Actually, what we could do is we could make this the prison with a torture chamber. A weird torture chamber. So yeah, the prison can be the entrance, and then the torture chamber can be the back area. So the prison doesn't need to be very big, but torture area, because I'm going to keep anybody that, of course, we capture, we're going to put in jail, and we'd rather them be tortured, because while they're being tortured, they give us stuff. Okay, so now our keeper is ready to start doing something, and he will automatically do things once he gets going. Yeah, like it's telling us we can put him in training. I don't know. I think this is something that's coming. It should automatically say, oh, there's a training room available. I should go train. So you can't really see it very well, but there's a little training dummy in the center here. And right now, our training room is operating. We can't even tell because there's all that gold in the way. All that pesky gold. And I'm hesitant to go pick it up because as soon as we start storing the gold, it makes us open to attack from bandits. And I don't want to start getting attacked until we actually get some Denzians, evil Denzians here. So so this is, I think this is going to be our throne room. So we're going to make this nice and fancy. And then branching off of our throne room, we're going to do our library where he's going to do all his evil research. We're also going to do a couple treasure rooms. I think we'll do fancy little treasure rooms here. Yeah, like that. Yeah, there we go. And we'll do another one on the other side. Now, this is also a good place for eventually you to put statues, and statues are kind of this prestigious thing that actually allows you to get more population in your dungeon. Right now, we're only allowed 10 creatures of the night to join us in our dungeon, which is fine, actually. At the beginning, you don't want to attract too much attention to yourself. You want to kind of lay low, because one of the biggest differences between this and, say, Dwarf Fortress, for example, is that not only do we have to defend ourselves, but somewhere in this world there's humans over here, or there's elves over here, or there's lizard men, or there's whatever, and they're all out here. Unlike Dwarf Fortress, where you're only defending, you can also bring the battle to them. You can go and attack them. But at the beginning, you do not want to draw a lot of attention to yourself. You kind of want to lay your foundation. So here, we've kind of laid our foundation. Things are looking pretty good. We need to get a place to store our gold. Now, I don't want to do that too quickly because bandits will start attacking us right away, like I said. But we can actually get our library built. Actually, the library is pretty important. We'll do the library down on the bottom here. We want that to be fairly big, but not too big at the beginning. Now, the size of the rooms, just like Dungeon Keeper, the size of the rooms matter. The size of the room determines how many Denzians are going to show up in your dungeon that like the type of room that you've built. For example, if we build a super huge library, we're going to attract a lot of shamans and possibly vampires. Which, shamans are vampires, yay! Yeah, so vampires are a result of library and graveyard, I believe, where shamans are... killing a leader greatly lowers the morale of his tribe and stops immigration. Build a library to start research. Yeah, I'm working on it. So as soon as the library is done, I guess we could turn up speed a little bit. Okay, normal. There we go. And yeah, so shamans are good, but they spend all of their time in the library unless you manually tell them to go start training. Why? Oh, I see what they're doing. All right, guys, I want you to prioritize building my library, please, so we can start doing some research. So we'll just kind of do that. That'll get them started. There they come. Awesome. Yeah, they're collecting all of the goods. And we're also going to make this a equipment room. So this is where all of the loot that we get or make is going to go. And we want this to be our manufactory. Actually, I want our manufactory to be a little bit bigger. The manufactory is where we build things like first aid kits. And, I kind of screwed up the entrance then. That's okay. That's okay. I want the manufactory to be a little bit bigger. We could put 2 entrances in. That's fine. Okay, so we should be able to put down our library. Now, our library uses 20 wood per spot, and we've got some wood. They've been collecting some wood from outside, so I think we'll start out with just this size. Now, as I was saying, we can put torches in a room. Torches are absolutely free right now, and I didn't want to put one down so that until we actually had a room down so that you could see what the difference was in efficiency. So a room that's well lit, of course, becomes more efficient. And I could show you with the training room, but there's gold in the way and you can't really see the stats of the actual room itself. So here's our library, right? So anything that is adjacent, any square that is adjacent to another library square is more efficient than a square that's not efficient to a library square. In other words, this is a library square that's adjacent to a non-library square, so it's not going to be as efficient as this piece in the center. Now, if I want to make this even more efficient, I can attach torches to the wall, which light up the room. And torches are a little bit tricky, but you can place them on specific walls. In other words, I don't want it on that side wall. I want it on this wall, so you kind of just got to keep clicking until it goes there, and an imp will come and place it. And I'm very anal about where I put my torches. Just like many things that I do, I'm very anal about it. And I think we're going to try and do, and here we go. Yeah, see my keeper, because he's a sorcerer, he likes to be in the library. That is his favorite place. So even if I tell him to go train, he will eventually come back to the library because that's just one of the things that he enjoys doing more than anything else. He likes researching in the library. So I'm just going to put this back to speed 1. I don't want to go too fast because there could be stuff happening outside while I'm placing these torches, which I don't know about. Like there could be tree spirits that are kind of like tree ants, like Treebeard from Lord of the Rings, of course. Tree ants that when you chop down enough trees, tear down the forest of, yeah. Anyway, so when you tear down enough of the forest, these tree ants start coming out and start attacking your imps. So I don't want to, it only costs mana to bring imps into the world, but we can't afford too much of that. So now while my keeper is actually researching in the library, you'll notice that our mana is going up. So he researches as fast as the efficiency will allow. And of course, I think his level also affects it too. So the higher the level he is, the better he'll do in here. And the same with other creatures that work in your dungeon. So now, with it lit up like that, isn't that nicer? Looks better. And you'll notice it went from 55% to 100% efficiency. And eventually, like in original Dungeon Keeper, placing doors and stuff on room also improved efficiency too as well. But yeah. I'm sure that'll be a thing. Okay, so now I think we've dug out enough now that we can actually start placing some dorms. Now, if I place a dorm right now, actually, we're going to get a lot of shamans and stuff. So I want to make our training room a little bit bigger so that we can attract some orcs or ogres. So let's get that down. Training room. There we go. Training room. Let's make that twice as big as it is right now using the shift and left mouse button. I can drag that around and make that bigger. So now the training room is probably going to... Oh, and also, while we're here, let's build... We're not going to be able to see the stats on the training room for a while because gold's in the way. I can't see. It says 27%. Yeah, we can't see the stats on it right now. Now, to start attracting guys to our dungeon, we're going to have to place some dorms. Or we could also place a lair, a beast lair. The problem with beasts is they work really well as scouts, and I don't want any scouting done right now because that may attract some bad guys. And also, I kind of got to monitor them, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put a dormitory down first. And I think we'll do the dorm right here. I don't want to build it too big because I only want to attract a small amount of people at the beginning. Okay, so there's a really small dormitory. It does cost wood to build that as well. And just to keep our imps busy, let's keep them working on trees. Like I said, you want to take a break from chopping down trees or you will start to get attacked. There they go. Off doing their thing. So now we have a dormitory and we have a training room. We should start to attract some orcs and or need a dormitory for your minions. I need a treasure room. I don't know why we haven't attracted anybody yet. Minions morale is boosted when they're commanded by a keeper. Yes. So you can actually take control of a little army of your minions. So in other words, once you start to attract some orcs and that, and they're higher up in level, you can actually put them into teams by going here and you can click on new team and say, I want all these guys to travel together and then control them, which is really, really cool. Or you can tell them to go to certain places without your help. In other words, they will go attack certain things. Oh, I missed a torch on that wall. All right, that's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Come on, I need some... Okay, I'm going to put it up to speed 2 here while we wait. I don't know why anybody hasn't come yet. Usually people have come at this point. Yeah, we're still at population 1. Ah, weird. Okay, maybe we'll build another room. I don't think we can build too much more. Maybe we need to make the... Oh no, here we come. Ah, here we go. An ogre joins your forces. All right, let's take a quick look at the ogre. So the ogre, he's a level 10 ogre. And of course, his stats are much higher than mine. He is much stronger, much more dexterous. He is much more accurate, but it takes him longer to do things. So in other words, every tick of the game is a little bit longer for him. He can do a number of different things, including sleeping, training, eating. He can work in the workshop. He can work on the forge. He can work in the laboratory. He can be a jeweler. And he's also a huge, massive thug. Like, he does a lot of damage, and he also has, he's weapon. He can fight with weapons, which is fantastic. The ogres are great. That's why it's good to stop when you've built... In other words, at the beginning of the game, if I built the whole place, I would get such a mishmash of creatures. You can kind of control what's coming in. And I like the heavy hitters first, so I build the training room, a little bit of a library just for my keeper to work in, and then, of course, the dormitory, and then we start to get some bigger guys in right away. Hopefully, we could get some shamans in right away, too, because we built the library, but my hope is that we get a few more ogres in. Now, the ogre will automatically default to training. Now, as he trains, he will get more levels. He will get tougher. And again, we want to take it nice and slow because we don't want to attract too much attention. Orc shaman. There we go. We got a shaman. Yeah, I was saying that because if you build a library right away, but we got another ogre too. Awesome. And actually, I just want to see something. And if, like I said, if anybody wants to become an ogre or a shaman, let me know. I will probably get you killed. It's a given. Actually. So the shaman, look at him. But now he has some other skills. He can heal. He's an expert at sorcery. So he has a number of spells that he can use. Now, if you control him manually, yeah, I don't think you can use the spells, but on their own, if you're not controlling them, they do quite well. So they can cast the healing and all that quite well. So they do work in a group, but they're not your first choice for guys. I guess it is. As a healer, you should have them. Now, the thing is, they can do a couple things. They can sleep, work in the library, work in the laboratory, or eat. Now, they will spend all their time in the library, just like your keeper. Honestly, if I left my shaman and my keeper alone, they will sit in the library and read books and veg out the whole time, the lazy son of a bitches. But... sorry for swearing there, but I can manually tell them to go train. Now, what I like to do usually is build a separate little training room close to the library. So what's going to happen is when I send them to go train, they're going to go and train for a while, and then they will stop at some point and go back to the library because they're that insatiable. They're addicted to learning. So it's important to build a separate little training area that they can that I can manually send them to. In other words, once that's built, I can actually change it on here to tell them to go training, whatever. Okay, and we have two ogres, and I actually want to compare them. So we've got Beastery and Spar, that's their name. Beastery the ogre and Spar the ogre. So they are absolutely identical. So I thought there might be some variation, but no, it looks like they are perfectly the same. Now our dormitory is full, and oh, perfect, we have enough mana. Now we can actually go to the we can go here to the magic or the mana section, the book, and we could go to library. And when we click on library, it shows us the technologies that we can research. So we can actually research alchemy, which means we can build a laboratory to build basic potions. We can do crafting, which is really important to build a workshop, and build basic equipment like traps, very, very important. Pig breeding. Pig breeding is interesting, so you can raise your population max. So in other words, right now we have a max of 10. If I build a large enough pigsty, we can bring our population to 14, but that does attract attention the larger your population is. And sorcery, which means my keeper would learn more spells. I think to start, we're going to do the workshop because it's that important. And I think, yeah, we could do just the workshop, I think, for now. Now that will attract goblins. Goblins are useless in battle, so it's another one. It's kind of a homebody. They might be better, as they get tougher, but at the beginning they're quite useless. So workshop uses wood, and again, decide how big you want to make it. Now, I don't want to make it too big at the beginning because, of course, then we'll have only goblins in our army. We want most of our people to be like ogres and big guys right now. At least for me, for this game, I want the heavy hitters. So that's even huge. I'm actually going to make the training room just a little bit bigger. Actually, we've got no, that's fine because we've got a second training room going in. So that'll work out just fine. We need to see what's in this funny little area. There we go. Now, also, because we've built or researched that, we can now install doors and bridges. So that's something we couldn't do before. So now doors, they require a little bit of wood, and of course they get beat up when we get attacked, but they're important. They slow down the enemy. That's really, really key for later on. And I'm going to put a door here. I'll tell you why in a second. I put a door basically going into any room and right before any boulder traps. So in other words, I put a door... actually, we will do a door... Oh, interesting. Huh. Be kind of a weird one, but I'm going to do a door there. Yeah, and actually we should do, what we should do, we're going to dig here too as well, because we can put a boulder trap here, and then put a door here. Oh, we're out of time. Oh man, this is going to be so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy this, because this is, I know it's not a brand new game. I know it's not, you know, fresh out in the market, but it is still really fun. And I'm really looking forward to playing more of this with you guys. And yeah, before you go, let's see, let's build a treasure room. I think we've got enough to defeat some basic bandits now too. So now with the treasure room, basically it's just a treasure chest. So if, for example, if you're an adventurer and you're adventuring in this dungeon, these are the things you would find later on. These are the treasure rooms, right? And of course we will put doors in front of them and a door in the library, door leading up to that. And this is going to be another boulder trap right here. And I'm focusing a lot on boulder traps because they can kill a lot of enemies all at once. There are other types of traps. We have to research them. There are surprise traps, which our guys will teleport to the area. Yeah, I don't really like it all that much. It's basically a suicide mission for the guy. Boulder trap, which can kill a lot of guys. Web traps, which will paralyze the guy. Alarm traps, of course, will make the entire dungeon go to that area. Like everybody who lives in the dungeon will go there. Gas trap, which is awesome, except it doesn't affect lizard men because lizard men are immune to poison. And a terror trap, which scares them away and makes them run away. All of those are great, but I still think the boulder trap is the most amazing. At least you can use it in the best way and kill the most enemies with it. But the gas trap's also really good. Anyway, guys, that's our first episode. Leave a like if you liked it. I would be happy to do lots more of this. It is really fun. It's really dark right now. The day-night cycle is important too, but we'll talk more about that next time. Oh, I just want to play. All right, take care, guys.